Hey guys, welcome into Fantasy Football Academy 2020. As always, I am the host, the dean of the academy. Look, I'm not sure if you guys are going to hear it or not, but I live out in the country here in Louisiana. I know people outside Louisiana think everything outside of New Orleans or Baton Rouge is country, but it's not. But yeah, out where I live, the wind is kicking up a little bit. You guys know from the last episode that I went through. My family and I went through Hurricane Delta along with the rest of South Louisiana, but we had a little roof damage. We got a tarp on the roof, so you might hear the tarp hitting against the house. Just to let you guys know, it's not falling apart. No emergency. I don't have to evacuate, but it might get a little ruckus. So, but welcome in. Today is Friday, the 16th. I know normally you guys don't see me until after, but we didn't have a Thursday night game, and I figured I would get in the matchup of the week, do a little review on our league of record, and I got to give a little props to the wifey. My honey is number one, took over the number one spot this week from Charles. Charles fell, not in record, but she has scored more points. Our matchup of the week is going to need to pit 2 4-1 teams against each other. We're going to take a look at that in just a second. Behind me, you see a new hashtag, Reign Supreme. Look, guys, use this right here, okay? This channel. Subscribe, like, share. I will do everything I can to help you guys reign supreme. And look, you guys, look, can y'all see that? You see that flavor? I'm not trying to pronounce the first one. The last one's lychee. I can pronounce that. But this is awesome. New flavor. Friend of ours at the gym, Meg. Appreciate the enlightenment on this new flavor. Love it. It's awesome. Hashtag not a sponsor. But, hey, I'll work for energy drinks. So, big news out of the NFL. Outside of the news that absolutely broke Twitter, Le'Veon Bell getting released from the Jets, it is now being reported that he is expected to sign. He hasn't yet. Calm down. All Le'Veon Bell owners, calm down. He hasn't signed yet, but he's rumored to sign with the Chiefs. That's right. The Kansas City Chiefs. The rich just keep on getting richer, and the dividends keep rolling in. Look, anybody who is a CEH owner right now is kicking themselves. They're screaming, no. Anybody who has watched The Office and has seen Michael Scott, Steve Carell's character on there, where he goes, no, no, no. That's what CEH owners are doing when this news broke. I've said on here before, I think the better fit for him would be to go to New York, would be to stay in New York and go to the Giants as opposed to the Jets. Go to the Giants and play there. Just take over Devontae Freeman's role. I mean, Devontae hasn't looked bad, but he's not Le'Veon Bell. Sorry, he's a better pass catcher. Get him out in the open, he'll run better. I just think with the way that division's going, he could absolutely dominate. It'd be him and Zeke in that division, and then Antonio Gibson. So, and really, like Philly's got Miles Sanders, but Philly's doing so bad right now, it's not even funny. They have been competitive in the past couple of games, but I don't know what's going on with Carson Wentz. He just looks off this year. So, yeah, if you're a Le'Veon Bell owner, you are thanking God that Le'Veon Bell is going to sign with the Chiefs. It's going to mean a lot of pass catching. It's going to mean good news for the Chiefs. It's going to be good news for all Patrick Mahomes owners, who my wife owns, by the way. So, yeah. Now, we're also going to be talking trades because there have been a flirt as far as fantasy football goes. There has been a flurry of trades, mostly initiated by myself this year in fantasy football. I'm absolutely shocked that they've actually gotten pulled off. We've done some two for twos. We've done some 1-for-1s, some straight ups. So we'll show you what's going on there and maybe answer a question or two that you might have about a player that maybe you're either thinking about going after or thinking about putting up on the trading block, and when you should go ahead and pull the trigger on that. So let's go ahead and take a look at League of Record. So this right here, you see my matchup this week is against these Cowboys. This is my boy Chris. As you can see by the star, he is a diehard Dallas fan. He is also an apologist for Jerry Jones. And I'll say it one more time. Sorry to hear about Dak. It is ironic, and I was talking to someone about this earlier. It's kind of ironic that the Cowboys lose Dak on the same day that Washington put Alex Smith back in the lineup. So same division rivals. One team gets their broke leg quarterback back, and one team gets a broke leg quarterback. So kind of ironic, but that's the NFL, guys. So also, real quick, guys, talking about hashtag not a sponsor. How about hashtag sponsor? And I love you guys. Keller's Bakery in Youngsville, off the Youngsville Highway, 627 Lafayette Street. Look, if you guys are looking for some awesome pastries, some awesome donuts, cakes, pies, anything like that, they are absolutely phenomenal. If you're in the Lafayette area, go by and see them. You can find them on Facebook. Tell them that the Dean sent you. Get you 2 free cookies with your order, and enjoy, guys. Look, you will thank me later. Get yourself some donuts. You can hit the gym, a little extra on the treadmill. It's not a problem. Go ahead, spoil yourself. You'll enjoy it. Trust me. Okay. But yeah, Dustin, who is owner of Fighting Infernapes, his family owns them, so I appreciate their sponsorship. Thank you very much, Dustin, and good luck this week, because you got Nick, and I really hope you beat him. It shouldn't be too hard, because he lost to Charles last week by less than a point because he didn't listen to me and start James Conner instead of Nick Chubb. So anyway, okay, guys, so here's the thing. We got myself and Chris going on this week. Let's hide the chart and take a look at the rosters. So I've got Big Ben going up against Cleveland. That's a really good matchup. Kareem Hunt is questionable going against Pittsburgh, but it's a volume play there. James Robinson versus Detroit. I am absolutely loving this matchup. Robert Woods versus San Fran. And I know you're probably sitting there going, wait a minute, Dean, did you not have Robert Woods this whole time and you just hadn't been starting him? No, I traded for him. And you'll see for who in just a second. So, Robert Woods against San Fran. Devontae Parker against the Jets. Kelsey, of course, you're starting him. I don't care what the matchup is. Juju, because I'm trying to do double up here against Cleveland. Gostkowski against Houston. And the Ravens against Philly. I've told you guys I don't like the way that Philly looks. And Carson Wentz is not that same player that I saw just give my team Washington fits a couple of years ago. There was one play where and you can go back and look it up, where he just squirted out of a short sack and just ran for about 30 yards. It was incredible, and I hated that play. So anyway, but he's not that guy. I don't know where he is. I don't know what he's doing, but he's just off this year. Facing Aaron Rodgers, he has Drew Brees on a bye. And I know you guys down here, I don't know if you saw that real quick. I got Michael Thomas. So I got Thomas, I got Woods, and I'll show you who I traded for. Just a second. Jamison Crowder against Miami. Look, Crowder is probably the only Jet now that Bell is gone that you want. They're going to be behind. They're going to have to throw the ball. So that's a good start right there. Amari Cooper without Dak. That's going to be interesting. It's kind of a cautionary thing right now with any of the Dallas receivers because you don't know who Dalton is going to gravitate to, and it's going to be a really tough week or two until we find out. I'm loving this matchup this week on the tight ends between myself and Chris. You got the two best tight ends in the game going head to head against two really good defenses. The Rams are actually listed as 4th in our league of record, and then Buffalo, are no slouches either. It's on the Buffalo game, and KC is on a Monday night. There are 2 Monday night games because Buffalo and KC were supposed to be Thursday. They were supposed to be last night. But because Buffalo and Tennessee, because of COVID, got moved to Tuesday, they weren't going to make the Bills turn around and play a game 2 days later. So they pushed it to a Monday night game. So make sure that you are being aware and making adjustments in your lineups. Make sure that if you have any of the Monday night players, that they are in your they're in your the position where you need to have them, whether the wide receiver, running back. Make sure they're in your flex, so you can have the ability to swap out if something happens to where they pop up and they're not going to be starting. Now, if you followed along with us before, you know that Chris has Melvin Gordon. You see him down here on your bench, and you're going, wait a minute, Dean, what's wrong with Melvin Gordon? He's being punished. Melvin Gordon probably will not play this week, so that means that Phillip Lindsay will be stepping up. Now, Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman, they will probably be splitting time in the backfield this week. So just because Gordon's gone does not mean that Phillip Lindsay is an automatic play. So make sure that you're checking your roster. They're playing New England. Not really sure how that's going to go. Drew Lock is back for Denver this week. Noah Fant is supposed to be playing as well. Jerry Jeudy might be affected there, but not enough to where it's going to affect you starting him. If you started him before, you're starting him again. Cole Beasley is going again for Chris. And Beasley actually has been really, really steady in his productivity. I think he scored no less than 11 points over the entire season these past 5 weeks. So good, steady play you're going to get out of him. And, of course, he's got another Dallas player on his team, the kicker in Zuerlein, and the Cardinals are facing Dallas. So good play there. Look down. He's kind of hurt with the buys. Remember, Vegas, the Raiders, the Saints, all on a bye. The Chargers on a bye. And there's someone else I can't remember, but make sure you check the NFL app. If you're not signed up to the NFL app and you're not signed up to ESPN, what are you doing? Sign up. Go download it. Get the notifications. Get signed up. Get all set up and be ready for the breaking news when it happens, and you'll be able to pop on and claim those players who are having really good matchups or be able to sub them out in case they are not playing, like Melvin Gordon. So that is my matchup of the week, and I'm really not too torn on any of the players right now. I think I got a pretty good solid lineup as it stands. So that'll probably end up being my my final change to my lineup unless I keep going back and forth. And that's one thing, guys. If you set your lineup and you look at it and go, I'm happy with that. Unless something catastrophic happens during the week, don't change it. Because when you start second guessing yourself, that's when you really start getting in trouble. Remember what the hashtag has been from day one here at the Academy is trust your gut. This is environmental roster management. You need to look at the environment around the player and make the best decision that you feel you can make. All right. So, matchup of the week. We are looking at Slutty Mutts versus the Cajun Poodles. 4-1 versus 4-1. Both one has a 1-game win streak, one has a 3-game win streak. Mr. Charles is on his 3-game win streak. So after going 1-1, he has rattled off 3 straight wins, and here is his lineup. He's kind of hurt this week because of the bye. He's losing Kamara and Carson. And we see on the other side that Mr. Hunter is losing probably the best fantasy quarterback going right now in Russell Wilson. He's also losing his tight end in Jared Cook. He made that up for that with Zach Ertz. And I don't know how I really feel about that because Ertz has not been himself. So that's some good stuff, guys. I'm telling you, go out and get you some. Brady against Green Bay on Sunday. Got Kyler Murray going against Dallas, and that is going to be the thing that is going to get him over the hump here. If he pulls out a win, it's going to be probably on the back of Kyler Murray with that matchup against Dallas, because that's just going to be ugly quick. Tyler Boyd is on my sit list for this week, so we're going to see how that pans out. He's got a couple of dinged up players here. I would and he is also that Bell owner. So Bell, he's holding on and holding out hope that he actually does sign with KC. If he signs with KC, I would not play him this week. You're definitely going to wait on that. And here's another thing, guys, is that you need to be aware of who you pick up off of waivers. Charles picked up T. Higgins when he also had Tyler Boyd. Now, here's the problem. You want to handcuff your running backs because when one goes down, the other's going to step up. With your wide receivers, it's not really the same thing. He's got T. Higgins because T. Higgins was the flavor of the week. He was coming off a big game, but he gets Indy, and Indy's been a really tough defense across the board, really. If I'm not mistaken, they're either number 1 or number 2 in most platforms for defense. So that's why Tyler Boyd is one of my sits of the week, because he's playing that stout Indianapolis Colts defensive secondary. Jerry Jeudy, look, on the bench, and you see on the bench also for Nick is CeeDee Lamb against Arizona. Look, I'll tell you right now, if I were to start anyone here, he's got Jefferson, Diggs, I mean, he's kind of in a tight spot. He's really deep at wide receiver, and this is something that you can do if you are weaker in other areas. Like he's got Freeman and Henry. I like the Henry. Devontae Freeman, I'm not really big on. But as you see down here, he's got Joshua Kelly, and Kelly's kind of a question mark. He's kind of hit and miss. with the Chargers, especially with Eckler out now. You got Kelly and Justin Jackson. I myself picked up Justin Jackson, I believe, in my other league. I can't remember if I picked him up here or not. But regardless, Jackson's the better play there for PPR. Kelly does get rushes, a little more in the run game, but Jackson is your pass catcher right there. I like Jackson more than Kelly right here. But if you are sitting with a team like this, where you have a ton of wide receiver talent, that's the guys where you go to someone else like D Money. D Money runs RBU. Let's take a look at his matchup real quick. Going up against my wife's team in the returning champ. You see he's got Elliott, Madison, Aaron Jones, Chase Edmonds. So, I mean, he is pretty much set on running backs here, and Philip Lindsay. And Phil, like I said, Philip Lindsay is not an automatic play this week, but he is a good play this week. Anybody who has Kenyon Drake, if Drake doesn't do that well, you can go ahead and try to trade him because Chase Edmonds been getting a lot of play. But it's kind of a hit and miss with Arizona. It's a good matchup this week against Dallas. But if you have that many running backs and you got somebody who is in desperate need of running backs like Nick, and you see Sammy Watkins is sitting here on Daniel's bench, this is how and he's also got Marvin Jones. I've told him to drop him. I don't know what's going on, but he wants to hold on to him. So be it. But if you've got a lot of running backs like he does, he's got Kerryon Johnson from Detroit. He's got Chase Edmonds. He's got Philip Lindsay. He's got Aaron Jones. He's got Alexander Madison. He's got Zeke. Yeah. So he's got a lot of running backs, and he's pretty much set at wide receiver with Ridley, Brown, Slayton. When Watkins comes back, he's got him. So he's really set at this position. So you go to him and go, hey, I'll give up a couple of my wide receivers, get a good high level running back, and maybe not two for any of these guys. It would be a straight up because he's not going to let go of Jones. He's not going to let go of Zeke. Those are his two stable forces on his roster there. So, but when you go to a trade, you want to make sure that you're getting something, and you've got to give something. But what can you give that you can afford to lose? And that's going to lead me into my trade for this week. So let's look at our league. Let's go to the transactions, and we're going to roll down here. Let's see. Maybe it's So here we go, guys. Here's the trade that I did with Dustin and the Fighting Infernape. Now, here's the precursor, is that Dustin the Fighting Infernape had Dak Prescott. So I was a little weak on receiver. He was really desperate for quarterback. So I gave him Lamar Jackson. Hold on. I get Michael Thomas and Robert Woods in a PPR. Yes, I threw in Raheem Mostert to kind of be fair, and also to be able to justify getting Robert Woods. What I want to do right now, let's look at Lamar. And look, here's my points, guys, is that he's had 2 30-point games, but they came against Cleveland and Washington. Against KC, horrible game. His passing yards have never topped 300. He's only topped 200 twice, and that was in weeks 1 and 2. One of them was against Houston, and he only had 1 touchdown. So the regression that we talked about in the beginning of the year, when we were talking about the touchdown regression from Lamar Jackson, was a real thing. Okay. And so if we look at his upcoming schedule, we see he gets Philly this week, and then he's on his bye. Then he gets Pittsburgh and Indy, New England, Tennessee, Pittsburgh again. The only bright spot is down the stretch. He has a really soft matchup the last 3 weeks. Okay. So if Dustin can pull out from a 1-4 spiral that he started into and actually make the playoffs, he's got a good quarterback down the stretch. But let's go look at this. Let's look at Robert Woods. And we see Robert Woods 18, 11, 21 has off game against the Giants, and then 20. This week he gets San Fran. They're a dumpster fire. Miami, you can score on Miami. Chicago, I'll take it. Hits his bye week. Down the stretch, he gets Seattle, garbage. Tampa Bay, decent. San Fran, again, garbage. Arizona, you can score on them. New England, score on them. He gets the Jets just in time for the semifinals to get into the Super Bowl. Then I get Seattle if I make it to the championship, or actually when I make it to the championship. Speaking it into existence, guys. So we see that the more favorable matchup is there for wide receiver. Let's check out Michael Thomas. Now, he's been hurt, so he's going on a bye. Then he gets Carolina, Chicago, Tampa Bay, San Fran, Atlanta, Denver, Atlanta again, then Philly, KC, and Minnesota. Yeah, you can burn all those teams, even KC. Okay. Think that's not going to be an epic showdown in points. Okay, guys. So, personally, I think I made out well in this deal. Raheem Mostert, I could afford to lose at running back. Jerick McKinnon has proved that he is more than capable of taking up for that. And that's the thing, guys. You have to be comfortable with the move. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. You got to be comfortable with that move. I was comfortable ditching Lamar Jackson because I look at it like this. My wife's team has Patrick Mahomes. Last week, she went up against Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick and Mahomes both scored 33 points. Now, that's 33 points for a second round quarterback because you had to reach for him because you weren't going to get him in the third round. So I could get the same production out of a undrafted quarterback. Yeah, I'm good with that. And Lamar really hasn't been living up to expectations. Last year, he was absolutely phenomenal. After the first week, I was like, great, he's back. He's going to be doing the same thing. A couple of weeks go by, subpar performances by his standards, okay? And that's the thing. I drafted him in the second round, so my expectations are higher. So if your expectations are higher and you're not getting the production that you're looking for, you need to look at your environment. I got Big Ben. I'm good with that. I can stream Kirk Cousins. I can stream Fitzpatrick. Luke has Fitzpatrick right now, but if he ever releases him, I'll be on top of that. But those are things that you guys need to look for when you're looking at trades, okay? There's another trade that is pending. We're not going to talk about that. We will talk about that next time after it happens. So I try not to influence as commissioner. So let's look at Game Center real quick. So matchup of the week: Sleddy Mutts, Cajun Poodoos. You guys have seen my matchup. So let me know down the bottom. Subscribe, like, and share. If you have any questions going into the weekend, remember 2 games on Monday night. Okay, so make sure that you're aware of that. Make sure you know your buys. Make sure you know your injury report. Okay, make sure you're looking at the health. You've seen the little icons next to the name. Just click on them, and you'll see the latest news from ESPN or NFL about that player. Make sure that you're making the correct roster adjustments for your league. And guys, remember, down at the bottom, subscribe, like, and share for me. And you too can reign supreme. I know it's corny, but it works. So remember, reign supreme, be aware, and always trust your gut. Guys, this has been Fantasy Football Academy 2020. I've been the Dean. It's been awesome. Be careful. Take care of each other. And remember, trust your gut. Here at the Academy, that's what we preach. That's what we practice. So take care. We'll see you guys next time, and good luck this weekend.